shine forth. He would dwell, shine forth, shine forth, shine forth. He would dwell in the midst of the cherubim, shine forth. He will dwell in the midst of the cherubim, shine forth, shine forth, shine forth, shine like a fire, shine like a rain, shine forth, shine forth, shine like a fire, shine like a rain, shine forth, shine forth, shine forth, shine like a fire, shine like a rain, shine forth, shine forth, shine like a fire, shine like a rain, shine forth, shine forth, shine like a fire, shine like a rain, shine forth, shine forth, shine like a fire, shine like a rain. He would dwell in the midst of the cherubim, shine forth. He would dwell in the midst of the cherubim, shine